guys, welcome back to MegNTv. Thank you for taking out time today to talk some TV and a little bit of movies today. I know it took a little longer for me to put out this video this week, and I was a little aggravated with episode 2, to say the least. And I'm a little glad that I took a little bit of time now, because I was able to watch all that spoiler shit that's going on all around the internet. And I am just so pissed about it that everybody has to release all these stupid spoilers. Yeah, I was really aggravated this week. Episode 2, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I like how they did the little play on words. But it was a little disappointing to me. A lot of people out there talking were saying this was even better than the first episode. I disagree. I think that the best parts of this episode was all of the conversations with Jamie. And other than that, I really didn't like too much else of the episode. So that's just like my overall feeling on the episode. I thought it was like reunion part 2. So the episode started out with Jamie in front of the tribunal of everyone, and I thought that that was an awesome scene. Once it started, I thought, oh, awesome, this is going to be just as great as the last episode. But we really didn't find out anything new this episode. We're still dealing with people finding out things that us as audience members already know. So there wasn't anything new. It was still seeing how people are reacting to each other. Like the conversation between Bran and Jamie, where he asks him, like, you know, why didn't you tell? And you know, he kind of says to him, like, how do you know there is going to be an afterwards or whatever? So, I mean, there were, like, parts throughout the episode where they, you know, like, Bran had that to say. Tyrion also said that to Varys and Joran, where he was saying, oh, after, you know, by the end of this, you know, you'll be wearing this pin. So, I don't know. I think they were, like, just fucking with us a little bit this episode, just to kind of throw us off a little bit. Really, when they were around the map and they were all strategizing and preparing for this battle at Winterfell, and the only part about the dragons that they talked about was, could the dragons kill the Night King with fire? And Bran says, well, no one's ever tried it before. And I didn't really get that part, where aren't all White Walkers supposed to be killed by either fire, dragonglass, or Valyrian steel? So why would the Night King be impervious to those things? I wasn't quite sure about that and why that was even mentioned. And then, you know, Bran finally shows the mark that the Night King gave him, where he always, like, knows where he is. Whether that means that the Night King can go into Bran's vision, you know, and see what's going on our end, I'm not really too clear about. And if that's the case, then the Night King really already knows everything. So I don't know. I think he just, like, knows where Bran is. But just the fact that after that, after he shows him that and says, I'm the target, he pretty much doesn't know shit else after that. So the one who's supposed to know everything has nothing else to say besides that when they're planning the battle. And then all the bullshit that they're showing us with Dany. Now, I know I am team Dany, and I have predicted that I think that she's going to win the Game of Thrones. I just thought that this was another way that they were fucking with us this episode, is just trying to get us, you know, to kind of doubt Dany a little bit because of the scene with her and Jon. Finally, at the end, Jon is avoiding her all episode, which I thought, like, Jon Snow was being like, what a fucking pussy. I know I'm swearing a lot this up. this video. But what a pussy. Like, avoiding her because he doesn't know how he's going to say it to her. And then Dany has to find him in the crypt to get him alone to talk to him. And then because he has, like, nowhere else to go, then he has to finally tell her. And then the first thing that she says to him is, oh, you know, like, your brother and your best friend told you this. You know, where she's kind of, like, not believing him at first. But then once she believes him, she says, well, that makes you the last male Targaryen heir, rightful, you know, heir to the throne. Instead of her talking about what that means for him and her personally. And they kind of made that seem like a bad thing. You know, like Dany's acting like this power-hungry bitch, where we have been watching for 7 seasons that this is everything this is the only thing she's ever wanted. And now they're going to try and start a fight between Jon Snow and Dany now over the throne, when that's something that Jon Snow never wanted. He didn't even want to be the king of the North. So just them throwing that at us, it really, like, just kind of pissed me off. Well, not kind of. It pissed me off. Because I'm thinking after 7 seasons, they're trying to wash away all of our, you know, belief in Dany and that she is, like, the best leader with one conversation. Sorry, I'm a little bit too much on Dany's side to let that one bit where I know, like, some people will watch and be like, oh, she's a bitch. That's all she cares about. And it's just like, yeah, that's all she's cared about. I mean, duh. And if it was a man, would we even be thinking that? Am I, like, perpetuating that? Even thinking that too? And another thing, well, as a woman, it pissed me off where I'm thinking, why is Jon get to be the heir to the throne just because he's male? She's his aunt. She's the Mad King's daughter. He's Rhaegar's son. So I don't understand why, just because she's a woman. I mean, she's really the next one in line if you're talking age-wise. I mean, she's older than Jon Snow, not by that many years, but she is. And she's like the generation above him. So is it just because she's a woman? Because if she was a man, there would be no question about Dany. But now that, oh, because Jon's a man and he's Rhaegar's son, that somehow he has more of a claim. And I know I said that last video, but I really didn't, like, think about that. Like, that just kind of pisses me off. Like, as a woman, like, look at everything she has done these past 7 seasons. Who has done more to earn the throne? All the shit that she has gone through. So that really pissed me off. Another thing that was pissing me off this episode, of course, because he is my favorite character, Tyrion. And I did say that he was going to be tested this episode because he was going to find out that he was wrong in believing his sister. But, I mean, really? Like, Tyrion really deserves all that? I mean, he's really taking it hard. And I like the scene with, you know, Jorah, you know, sticking up for Tyrion to Dany. I thought that, you know, that he has proven himself, and this kind of, like, seems like a little bit like of an unnecessary part of the storyline. Like, why are they making, you know, so is it because something, you know, Tyrion, I don't see Tyrion going against Jon or Dany at all, or betraying them at all. So the only person, you know, and Tyrion has, you know, did stick up for Jaime. Everyone knows he loves Jaime. Their conversation together was awesome, you know, around the fire. I thought that, like I said before, all the conversations with Jaime were good. But, again, just going back to the episode as a whole, all of this could have been handled the first episode. So now, you know, like, we're getting down now to the last 4 episodes, and we know all of next week is going to be the Battle of Winterfell. So, you know, there was just like one more part of the episode that I enjoyed was, again, a part with Jamie where he knights Brienne of Tart. And I thought that that was like the one part that was cool about all of them sitting around. I know, like, all of them sitting around, I'm sure people are like, this is so cool, all the people are together. Where I was just like, this is a waste of time. There is 15 of them sitting around drinking when they could be doing something for this battle or whatever. I mean, but, you know, whatever. But when he does knight Brienne, I thought that that was like a little bit of a necessary part to just show that in the face of death, that, you know, there is still some humanity left. You know, like, we're showing like the human side of things because we know they're about to fight the undead. So that means even more than just preparation for any other battle. That tradition still matters. So I thought that that part was, you know, kind of just that was the one necessary part. Because once Tyrion, you know, asked if anybody knew a song, I was like, what the fuck? I think I even wrote it right here. What the fuck? Like, really? You know, this is... And I know Game of Thrones, from watching all of these seasons, that they like ending every episode on some kind of like a cliffhanger or a like what's going to happen next. But this is the last season. We don't need any more of that bullshit. We know that at the end of every episode, we're like, anyway, because we want it to go on a little bit longer. So, you know, just ending it where they didn't even show like some of the cool parts that they showed in like the after the episode thing, where, you know, how they're preparing all this dragon glass and how they're putting it outside of the castle and on like the tiers of the castle and all this stuff. And they're not even really talking about any of that. And I thought that that would even be cooler. And then, and I'm not even mentioning the part with Arya and Gendry. I thought that that was also like a little bit unnecessary. They could have didn't really need to get into the whole sex scene part. I know some people were saying that it was uncomfortable for them. Like when me and my husband were watching it, it was a little uncomfortable for him watching it. And he doesn't get comfortable watching sex scenes, but just the fact where he's like, I watched this little girl grow up and now I'm like watching her have sex and looking at her boobs and her butt. And, you know, it just seemed like, I know that she is a grown woman. I understand that. But I just thought that that was just, okay. So we know that next episode, you know, is the fight, is the battle at Winterfell. And this is where all the spoilers came in, you know, and some of them, like, and I'm watching all these, like, review videos, and I'm just like, why do people have to do this and ruin this for everybody? Can't you just wait? Like everyone else? And then I found out after episode 2 that that was also leaked before, like some people watched it before it even came out because they aired it early in Germany or something. So is that going to happen this week with episode 3? And then all these spoilers that were released were like, some of them, like, people don't even know if they're fake or not. It's like, come on already. Like, can't we just, you know, really base our predictions and our reviews about what they show us on the screen or what they choose to show us in the making of the episode or in those interviews? But going in and, you know, people like releasing these spoilers, whether they're bullshit or not, just sucks. It just really sucks because it takes away from, like, you know, so the whole time I'm watching it next week, I'm going to be seeing what was bullshit or not instead of, like, really, I'm still going to enjoy the episode. But you know what I mean? I just think that that's just, you know. So anyway, I think that Rhaegal, the dragon Rhaegal, will die next week, killing the White Walker dragon. Some people, like, that was another spoiler, that the Night King doesn't even go to Winterfell, that he flies down to King's Landing and to try and trick them. But then people were saying that doesn't make any sense. If Bran is really his target, he knows that Bran is there. So I don't know if he's going to split his troops. I just don't see that happening. I mean, especially with, like, you know, like the part of the trailer that they showed us, seems like the Night King's there. So does he come in at the end? I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know. We're going to find out. And I haven't gone into the internet to try and watch some of these spoilers because I just think it's bullshit. So I just, just so that we know that next week it's going to be the whole battle. And we're going to find out who dies next week, who gets turned, we're going to have somebody that we love turned into a White Walker. But again, I don't see Dany dying. I don't see Jon Snow dying next week. I just think that they're just trying to kind of fuck with us a little bit. Just this episode and all the little things that were said and everything I saw on TV from like all the spoilers and stuff, like it's really fucking with me. Like it's fucking with my head where it's like, and that was the point then, I guess. That's what they wanted to do, was for all of us who are predicting and reviewing to be like, they really did fuck with me this episode. I felt a lot more clear on my predictions and where it was going after the first episode, but this one, and maybe that's why I didn't like it too much either, but I don't know. So that is what I think about Game of Thrones. So I am really, now, next week, I think that we're going to be in for a treat. That's what kind of bites when they have these kind of like, what I like to call them like filler episodes or wasting time episodes. I just didn't really think that we were going to have one this season. And that's kind of how I felt. And just how I felt so much differently than like a lot of people online going, this was better than the first one. I don't know. But, so anyway, I can't wait. Now, what I want to do is talk a little bit too about some movies and another TV show that I'd like to just give some shout outs to, because we are getting, like, I know I put this video out a little bit later in the week, but just, need a movie or another show to watch coming up this weekend or moving forward. And this is what I'd like also to be doing in my channel. The first movie I want to tell you guys about is the movie Widows. Now, this movie came out back last year, back in 2018. And I always, I had it in the back of my mind to watch it. And then with, at the end of the year, I like to make sure I watch all the movies that are up for the awards. And yes, all of those were wonderful. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch, like The Green Book or The Black Klansman or Roma. All those movies from the award seasons were awesome. They're all out pretty much on, video now, or you can order them. I know Roma's out on Netflix. So if you haven't had a chance to watch any of the ones that were nominated for the Golden Globes and the Oscars for 2018, you should. They're really good movies. Now, but Widows kind of seemed like a movie that was, should have had more hype about it and really didn't. And I think it maybe in the beginning, but it just had so many stars in it. So we have Viola Davis, we have Liam Neeson, we have Colin Farrell, we have Robert Duvall is in it. Many good actors and actresses in this movie, Widows. You can go out online and watch the trailer before you watch it. I suggest you do that. But just really quick, it is set in Chicago. It has politics, there is crime, there is corruption in the police force. It has a lot of action in it. It also has some slow parts too, but it really has like this shocking ending. It's just me and my daughter when we were watching it, we were like screaming at the TV. It was very, very entertaining. If you like that action movie experience with the drama, a little bit of comedy in there. One thing about this movie that I loved was, well, obviously the acting, but Colin Farrell's Chicago accent. Like me being from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago, grew up here my whole life. I just love his accent in this. It's sometimes really, it's hard for people to get the Chicago accent down, because then sometimes they end up sounding like they're from the East or from Boston or something. So like, to me, it's always very forced when I hear a Chicago accent. But to him, he really got it. He got it spot on. Now, I know Colin Farrell's like good at dialect and all that stuff, but and he's hot. So anyway, that's a good movie for this weekend. Another good movie, if you want something more on the slow side, but it was a very interesting movie. We have The Highwaymen that just came out recently on Netflix. It has my favorite Kevin Costner and also Woody Harrelson. They are both phenomenal in it. What the story of The Highwaymen is, they're two former Texas Rangers, and this was a time in history where in Texas, they stopped having the Texas Rangers for a while. And so these two former Texas Rangers come aboard to help the investigation of finding Bonnie and Clyde. So what's really cool about this, so it is set in that time frame. And what's really cool is that they don't show Bonnie and Clyde at all, really. At all, really. What they do is just show it from their perspective. And what they had to do at that time with the resources that they had to find them and to track them down. And it was just, it was a really good movie. It was really interesting to see. It was also interesting, and I know like anybody who has seen anything on Bonnie and Clyde before, I like watching a lot of crime shows. They really had a lot of support from the people. So that made it even harder for the Highwaymen to find them and to capture them. So it was a really good movie. Kathy Bates is also in it. She plays the governor of Texas. That was a nice little part for her. I know that she is just getting back from being sick. I know she had cancer for a while. So that was a really interesting movie. It was really good. Like I said, slow at some parts, but the slow parts, if you really listen, the dialogue is just great. And the way that Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson interact with each other is just awesome. So that's another good movie to watch. Also, I have a show if, you know, you're sick of all this blood and guts and gore and crime. There's an awesome show on Amazon Prime. And I just got done watching the 4th season of it. It's called Catastrophe. Now, I know I'm saying 4 seasons, so you're saying, oh God, I gotta go back and watch 4 seasons of a show. What's so cool about this show, it is a show from Britain. We have Rob Delaney and Sharon Horgan write the show. Also, they star in it. But what's cool about the show is that it's only 30-minute episodes, and pretty much tried and true to every like Brit show that I've ever watched, 6 episodes is pretty much the norm. So even if you go back and watch like Ricky Gervais's like the original Office, again, 6 episodes. It's just like the norm or something. And with the 4 seasons, it goes really fast. So another cool thing about the show, Carrie Fisher was in the first 3 seasons. She plays Rob Delaney's mother in it. She died at the end of the 3rd season, coming back actually from London from the filming of the 3rd season. And it is really cool how they deal with her death in the 4th season. I mean, I'm not giving anything away. We all know Carrie Fisher is dead. But it's a really fun, loving show. Quickly, like just the backstory of it is Rob Delaney's from America. He comes to England for a week. He ends up hooking up with this Sharon Horgan. And I like that they keep their names in the show too, like they're Rob and Sharon on the show. And they end up like hooking up for a week, kind of do like a week's long one-night stand. And then she finds out she's pregnant, and the show goes on from there. And they are just super funny, witty, brilliant writers. And just their dialogue together. I mean, that's mainly the whole show, is them two together and how they're like living their life, but it is just brilliant. So to be kind of, it's brilliant. So anyway, that's an awesome, fun show. If you have Amazon Prime, you know, you can watch it for free. But it is worth, you know, purchasing this show. It's a really great show. And then just a little bit on the side note on Rob Delaney. He had a really hard year in the past year, where his son has passed away, and just how he came out and performed in this last season after that happened, writing the season and performing in it. There was something like a little different about him, and it made it better. And I know Rob Delaney will never see this, but I just thought, like, through all that pain, personal pain, he came out with this really great performance. And the way this is like the end of the show, the 4th season, and just the way they ended it was awesome. So that's another great show to watch. So again, I want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you for taking time to watch my videos. Please, if this is the first time you're watching, please subscribe. If you are one of my subscribers, please like the video. You know that helps. Oh, I also want to say thank you to all the people who gave me some comments after my last video. I had some pretty nice comments after the video. I want to say thank you. I hope that you keep on watching my channel. Please let me know if you watched, you know, either one of these movies, or if you started watching Catastrophe. If you can just, you know, let me know down below, give me a comment. Also, if you have any comments about Game of Thrones, I would love that as well. So again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.